last time we talked about strings, now we're gonna play with numbers, okay? And numbers are really easy to use in Python. For example, before I begin, let me tell you that we can classify numbers differently. For example, integers are 23, negative 90, 1,000, so on and so forth. Floats are decimals. For example, 0.25, 0.00009, and even 1.023, okay? And in Python, you can operate them. There's built-in operations for them. So for example, you can actually add, let's go ahead and use print. Print, let's say 2 plus 3. Let's run it, see what we get. We get 5. Also, you can add different type of numbers. You can add integers and floats, okay? Print, let's see, 1.09 plus, let's say 100, okay? Let's run it, and there you go, okay? So you can add different type of numbers. You can mix integers and floats. And also, very quite interesting, you can convert integers to floats and floats to integers, okay? So let me write that down. Convert floats to integers and vice versa, okay? So let's see how that works. So let's say I have, I don't know, let's say x equals 2.03, for example. And clearly this is a float, it's a decimal. Now I want to change that into an integer. The only thing I have to do is say print, and now I use a wrapper. I say int and put the x inside. When I run it, see what we get. We get 2, okay? And we can do this vice versa. Actually, you don't even have to store this value into a variable. You can just put it inside right away. For example, 2.03, I can run this, and I still get the same result, okay? Let's go ahead and do it the other way around. Let's say now I have, I don't know, t equals, let's say 2, for example. Actually, no, 5. And I want to convert this now into a float. Here's what I do. Print float, I'm gonna write float here. And now you write, in this case, I'm gonna write t. Okay, I'm gonna run it and see what happens. And there you have it, see? I went from 5 to 5.0, okay? I converted an integer into a float. And again, you don't have to actually store any variable. You can just write it directly into the function and it's going to still work. There you have it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you that you can actually do inequalities with numbers. You can compare them. So for example, let's say I write print and I say something like 2 less than 1. Okay, let's say that 2 is less than 1. Let's see what Python thinks about it. Let's run it, and it says false. Okay, so Python can actually relate numbers with inequalities and produce a true or false statement. Sorry for the bell. Let's do it one more time, but this time let's invert the inequality. Print, let's write 1 less than 2. Okay, so we should get a false message. Let's take a look. And there you have it, true. Okay, so again, we have two different type of numbers. We have integers and float. We can add them. Also, we can subtract them. I didn't do any subtraction, but all you have to do is change the sign into a minus and it's going to work, okay? And as we saw, we can convert integers to floats and vice versa. And on top of that, we can even create a relationship between them with inequalities and obtain some sort of Boolean value, okay? True and false in this case. All right, so what else can we do? So let's say I want to get the square root of a number, okay? That is possible, but there's a little detail behind this. I'm gonna go ahead and try and print the square root of a number, and you're gonna see what's gonna happen. Print sqrt. I'm gonna open my parentheses, and I want the square root of 100. Let's write 100. Now, when I run this, let's see what happens. I get some sort of error here, and the reason why is because I need to import a library. So this is the first time in class I'm using the library concept. Basically, think of a library as just information needed for the program to work with the tools you're given to it. Right now, Python does not know what sqrt is, doesn't know what a square root is. He can change from int to float, he can add and subtract, but he needs that extra knowledge. And the way to give that extra knowledge to Python is by importing a library. And you do it here on the top. You say import. Let me write import correctly. Import, and now you're gonna write math. Okay, that's a library. Now, to use this library, you're gonna write here math dot sqrt. Okay, let me get rid of the extra stuff. Now Python knows what square root is, thanks to that library. Okay, so let's give it a run here, see what we get. And there you have it, 10 here in the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. There you go, 10. All right. Okay, so what else can this math library do? This math library can do many things, but for now, I'm just going to show you a couple things. You can use a function called truncation, which is, you'll see what it does. Let's say I have some sort of float. Let's say print, and now I'm going to say math.trunc, and I'm going to write now some sort of float with a bunch of decimals, so the example is clear. Let's say we have 2.3568, let's see, 98 and 0. Okay, let's see what this does. Let me run it. And as a result, if you look here in the bottom, I get a 2. So in other words, the trunc function is almost like the int function, okay? It kind of just gets rid of the decimal part of the number, okay? So it's very useful to be able to round numbers, right? So the math library does provide a tool for that. I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. Print, and let's say I want to round 2.5. You write ceil, okay? Ceil for ceiling, so this function is going to look for the next highest number. Okay, so let's say we have 2.5 here, and I'm gonna run it, so I should get 3, right? Let's see. There you go, here in the bottom, 3. Okay, so that's rounding up. But what if for some reason you want to round down? Well, there's also a function for that. You can say print. Actually, you can use trunc in this case, but I want to show you this other function as well. So you say math.floor, as in lower, and I'm going to now write 2.5. Okay, let me write that down. Let me run it, and there you go, 2. Okay. So again, there's many different functions that you can use. Some of them are really similar, some of them are not, and you're gonna find a reason to use any of them, okay, as you advance in your programming career. All right, so that's it for now, and see you next time. Goodbye.